Hello, Connor. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm going to be conducting your interview for the Human Resources Business Partner role today. The questions that I'm going to be asking will be covering skills such as conflict management, leadership, and change management and influence. The interview is being recorded. It will last approximately 15 to 20 minutes. Do you have any questions before we continue forward?
No.
All right. The first question that I'm going to ask is why do you think you are the most qualified candidate for the role?
Because I think I do really well with aligning people strategy to business outcomes.
Can you give an example of that?
Absolutely. We currently I partake in weekly staffing meetings in which we go over what our needs are in different areas, as well as can we support them from a trainer's side, making sure that they all get the best training and onboarding experience.
Thank you. How do you define success in a role?
I would say I would define success in my role by how well the business does with my partnership.
And what do you mean by that?
Like, is my work, my partnerships, is that helping the business reach success? Am I part of that success? Would the operations maybe not be as successful without my partnership? So if we're successful by me bringing in my thoughts, my recommendations, and they're successful, I would consider myself being successful.
All right, thank you. How do you handle constructive feedback?
I handle it really well. I think that we can't grow as individuals without constructive feedback. We all have opportunity and we can all do better.
You. When it comes to skills, what is your weakest skill?
That's a little bit of a tough question as I am pretty skillful gentleman myself.
Okay.
I would say I would say sometimes I struggle being serious. I'm a kind of guy that likes to create a fun work environment, a fun workspace, and there's probably times where people want me to be a little bit more serious than what I can offer.
Okay. But when the time requires you to be serious, can you be serious?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Tell me about a time you had a disagreement with a peer and how you resolved it.
Um, yeah, so I worked with this woman one time. We didn't see, eye to eye, and it probably got a little unprofessional at times. What I did was I kind of just set up a meeting with her so that we could one-on-one discuss, kind of where we're at with our work relationship and what can we do to put our personal stuff aside and make sure that we can both work great together for the success of the business.
And was that successful?
Yes.
Did you have to have any follow-ups afterwards?
Um, no, no. I think a lot of times, especially in the HR field, um, I think that we all have pretty good understanding. Sometimes you just need that one-on-one though to kind of make sure that you understand each other and where things went wrong.
Right. How do you prioritize multiple tasks at one time?
Um, just making sure that I'm focused and prioritizing by if I have multiple things, just making sure that I'm doing what needs to be done first, determining what the impact is from each task, but just making sure that I'm diligent with my time management.
Okay. When you have multiple tasks at one time, do you feel like you get frustrated or do you feel like you can work through it?
No, I feel good about it.
All right. Next one is about senior leadership and influence. How do you build trust and influence senior leadership?
So I think trust comes from knowing the individual. So for me, I try to be personable. So, I'm not going to go to a leader only when I need to take a partnership for business. I'm going to check in with them, ask them questions about themselves, their life, share things for me to kind of build that safe space and that comfortability. So I think that that's really important. And once you build that, I think that it's a lot easier. The persuasion comes a lot easier in the fact that the person's going to trust you more and value and respect what you have to say.
Right? Tell me about a time when you had to have a difficult conversation in the workplace.
I had to address a team member regarding hygiene before. So that was pretty difficult because nobody wants to be talked to about, their hygiene. And so just making sure that I approached it very sensitively and privately.
And when you did address it, do you feel like it was um, perceived well by the team member?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And a team member is what exactly is a team member?
An
That's
associate,
an
like an hourly worker.
yeah. Okay. How do you balance empathy with the need for the business?
That's a good question. So, empathy is really important in so many aspects of making people feel comfortable. It can also help make a team or a non-exempt worker open up. Maybe you're doing an investigation. Maybe they're upset for de-escalation. So I always want to let them know that, but also I think that you can lead with empathy while still aligning with the business. Um, I don't think that I think that it comes natural to me to balance those. You can be empathetic while still upholding expectations and rules.
Okay. How do you help leaders manage resistance to change? This is the last question.
Um, so I make sure to let them know the whys. Like even if we don't agree with it, I think that a lot of times resistance comes from not understanding. So the best thing that I do is to lay out why we're doing it, why it's happening. Um, so even if they're not going to agree with it, at least they'll have a better understanding of the direction or the vision that is in mind when this change is being made.
Right. Can you give an example of a time that you helped leaders manage resistance to change with with your current company?
Yeah. Let's see. Does it need to be a change that directly affected the leaders, or can it be a change that affected the workers under the leaders that leaders still weren't thrilled about?
Um, Ones that directly impacted the leaders.
Um, okay. So, um, we went through a headcount change on lead warehouse workers, which is a position that supports the leaders in planning for their shift for uh, the day or night. They also support them managing the teams on the floor. They support where they're standing as far as their production goals. And so a lot of leaders that went from two to one were really upset, especially if they had large groups of team members or team members that were spread out, um, regarding challenges in maybe being able to accurately report and have support on the floor since they may need to cover large areas at once. So just coming up with routines, helping establish new routines, and ways to navigate that to so that they can still be successful in their work while explaining to them the reasoning for the change and being more standardized as a company.
Great. Thank you. I want to thank you for the time that you took out of your day today to come and interview for the HRBP role. Do you have any follow-up questions or additional notes to add to any of the questions that were asked?
Uh, I don't believe so.
All right. Well, we still have other candidates that we're interviewing for the role. With that being said, you should hear back from us within 10 business days. It was very nice meeting you. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.